getting ready to launch. There's 3 different launch pads I'm going to show you over there, okay? I'm going to hop in my seat. Let's go ahead and move this bus.
I have got it on video. You're on video. Say hi.
At 1 small step for man, 1 giant leap for mankind.
We have pondered our place amongst the stars since the dawn of humankind. We've looked at the stars with wonder and amazement, their glow guiding our travel for centuries. The more we learn about our universe, the more questions we have. Today, we'll explore where NASA and its partners are taking us in the future. But before we begin this journey, just like every NASA mission, our #1 goal is to return home safely. So always stay seated while the bus is in motion. Please, no food or drinks on the bus with the exception of water. Please keep conversation to a minimum so others may hear and enjoy the tour. No photography is permitted at the security gates, but there will be plenty of photo opportunities during the tour.
Hi, I'm Emily Calandrelli, and I'm excited to go behind the gates at Kennedy Space Center and experience the incredible achievements of NASA. I'm standing next to a real Mercury Redstone rocket, the same rocket that began NASA's journey of human space exploration. Our trip today will begin at the same Mercury Redstone and take us from the Apollo and Space Shuttle programs into current day activities at this multi-user spaceport into the exciting future of NASA. The work that's being done right this moment at Kennedy Space Center is bringing us closer to that next monumental achievement in space exploration. To welcome you, here's Space Shuttle astronaut and Center Director of Kennedy Space Center, Bob Cabana.
Hi, I'm Bob Cabana. Welcome to NASA's John F. Kennedy
Take a look
Space
out the
Center,
right side. You
where
see that
NASA
Mercury Redstone
astronauts
rocket
ventured
she was just
forth on
talking about
flights of
right there.
exploration since the 1960s, and where future space exploration will take us to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. What an exciting time to visit our multi-user spaceport as we celebrate NASA's 60th anniversary and the 50th anniversary of the Apollo program. It saw a dozen astronauts on the lunar surface from 1969 to 1972. In all our history, there's been one common theme woven throughout our DNA. It's our insatiable desire to explore beyond our home planet and our never-ending quest to expand our knowledge of the universe. As you venture behind the gates, you'll find a community of the most talented, dedicated, motivated workforce anywhere in the world who believe in the unlimited potential of space exploration. This is an active spaceport where new things are happening every day. You never know what you might see. So enjoy your tour.
All right, so this next video is going to tell you about the vehicle assembly building. We will see this building when we make our next left-hand turn. We will also be about 5 miles from this
You are
building.
now approaching
And this is
vehicle
a
assembly,
single-story building.
or
We're
as
going to
NASA
circle
calls
that
it,
building.
the
Video's going to tell you
VAB.
more about it, okay?
It is one of the largest buildings in the world by volume, and is the place where NASA completes the final assembly of its rockets before launch. The sheer scale of this building is hard to grasp, even when you're right next to it.
Keep your eyes on the water. If you happen to see an alligator, shout it out. Let us know what side you're on.
Next to a skyscraper or a really big bridge? Well, I
only
feel
have about
as
7,000
small
out
as
here.
an inch right now. I'm standing inside the vehicle assembly building trying to grasp how large it really is in here. It has 4 bays. Each bay has 2 large horizontal doors below it and 7 smaller vertically opening doors above it, tall enough to fit the world's largest rocket through. In fact, these are the largest doors in the world.
It was built in the 1960s for the Apollo program. Every Saturn V rocket that sent humans to the moon was assembled right here. Every space shuttle mission also assembled within these same walls. After the space shuttle program, a major renovation to the inside of this building began to accommodate NASA's next generation of rockets, the Space Launch System, or SLS. Lockheed Martin has developed a capsule called Orion that will sit atop the SLS rocket. This capsule is designed to facilitate human exploration of the moon and eventually Mars. The first flown Orion capsule from Exploration
We're
Flight
about
Test
5
1,
miles from that vehicle assembly
EFT-1,
building.
sits inside the NASA Now exhibit at the Visitor Complex. This uncrewed test flight launched atop the Delta IV Heavy rocket in 2014. The 4.5-hour flight took the spacecraft around the
Coming
Earth
up,
2
we're
times
going to show you a
before
bald
splashing down
eagle's
in the
nest.
Pacific Ocean, where it was recovered
Said to be
and
bigger than a
eventually brought
king-size
back
bed,
to
weighs
the
over
AS.
700
Just
pounds.
outside of the VAB,
It's been out here
you'll
for
see
well
the
over
launch
50
abort
years
system,
now.
designed to fit
No
atop
worries,
the
just follow
Orion
my lead.
capsule, which will be tested in 2019. If anything goes wrong during launch, the launch abort system will quickly pull the capsule away from the rocket below with abort motors that produce 400,000 pounds of thrust, enough to lift 10 buses, just like this bus. The construction of the VAB required 65,000 cubic yards of concrete, 45,000 steel beams, 1 million steel bolts, amounting to almost 100,000 tons of steel. Notice the flag painted on the outside of the VAB? It's the size of a 21-story building. The blue section alone is the size of an NBA basketball court. Each star is 6 feet across, and each red and white stripe is wide enough for this bus to drive down. And the entire VAB?
All right, so the bald eagle's nest is coming
so
up.
huge that the Roman
Take a
Colosseum
quick look
fit
out the
on
left
roof
side.
with
Everybody see the
wooden
power
parking
poles?
lot.
Follow
By
the top
volume,
left
VAB
power pole.
can fit
We're now
3.5
4
Empire
sets
State
of power poles for the
and
bald
we
eagle's
take
nest.
250
Looks like there's an eaglet in the front of the
billion
tree.
ping pong
An
balls
eaglet's
to
in the
fill
front of the tree. We're now 3 sets of power poles from the bald eagle's nest. 2 sets of power poles from the bald
NASA
eagle's
is
nest.
known for dreaming big.
So there's that's an eagle. That's an eagle. They actually have 2 eaglets this time. So, but that's an eagle sitting in the front of the tree. See, he just got up. There he is, flying right there. All right. Well, that nest has been here for well over 50 years, and again, they did have 2 eaglets this time. And the eaglets will be getting rid of the eagles, and the eaglets will be leaving starting on next month. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, folks are always wondering, how does NASA move those space shuttles and rockets around? Well, the vehicle we use to do that with, it's called the crawler transporter. And for those of you that pay for your own gas, all right, this vehicle gets 32 feet to the gallon. Take a look at this video. By the time it ends, we will be right by that vehicle, okay? We have 2 of them. These are the only 2 in the world.
The largest self-powered land vehicle in the world.
32
It was
feet to the
originally
gallon.
built in
It's less than
1965
1 mile
for
per
the
hour.
Apollo program and has since been updated to accommodate the space shuttle and now NASA's SLS rocket. Weighing in at 6 million pounds and capable of lifting and hauling 18 million pounds, the crawler is an engineering marvel, even without a rocket sitting on top of it. This thing has 2,750 horsepower V16 diesel engines that can carry the crawler up to a top speed of, wait for it, 1 mile per hour while carrying a rocket. Keep an eye out for the crawler as we approach this area. And remember, we are visiting a working spaceport, so while the crawler may not stay in one area for very long, it's bound to be out here somewhere. Now, let me introduce you to my friend, John Giles, the crawler project manager.
I'm standing in front of crawler transporter number 2 at the Kennedy Space Center. Crawler transporter number 2 will be used for the SLS program to take the launch vehicle back and forth to the pad. We will begin by going underneath the mobile launcher. We'll pick it up, we'll take it over to the VAB. They'll then assemble the launch vehicle on top of the mobile launcher, and then we'll come back to the VAB. We'll slide underneath it again, we'll pick it up, we'll take it out to the pad, a trip of about 4.2 miles. It'll take us about 7 hours to get there. But during our trip to the launch pad, we'll roll over a specially prepared crawler way that consists of anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of special rock. Below that is limestone that's about 4 feet thick and compressed to hold the weight of the crawler and the mobile launcher. And then below that is some hydraulically compacted sand that can support all the weight. And then once we're there, we'll drop it all off. And a few days later, there'll be a launch. We'll come back, we'll pick the mobile launcher up, and we'll bring it back to the VAB to start the process all over again.
With 50 years and some 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles on the clock, NASA expects the crawlers to be in operation for at least another 3 decades. How cool is that? The latest refurbishment is complete and preparation is well underway for the first SLS mission. The crawler will be doing what it was originally designed to do once again, which is moving rockets.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you look straight ahead of us, just before we get to those two vehicles, straight ahead of us, there's a couple of beige buildings right here, and it has a big blue door in the back. There's a third one off to the right, is painted blue in the front, but all three of these buildings were built for the space shuttles, originally built for the space shuttles. But NASA has now leased these buildings to one of our private industry companies, which is Boeing. Boeing has built one of our new capsules. We now have 3 different capsules. And Boeing we're actually going to test that capsule on next month, sometime on next month. So you might be able to look on that space flight now and see when they're going to launch that capsule. Followed by, a little bit later this year, we're going to send astronauts up into space using that same capsule. This year, ladies and gentlemen, this year. Woohoo! All right, we're launching back over here on our turf. Over to the far right, you see the building. It has the picture of the capsule. All right, it's actually inside that building. Hope you got your cameras ready when I make this right-hand turn. Wherever you're sitting, if you need to be able to get up to get photos, you can do that. Right behind this white building right here, right behind this white building is both of the crawler transporters. Look in the upper left-hand corner of either one of those vehicles. You do see a glass box. That is a driver's seat. These vehicles are equipped with 2 driver's seats. The other driver's seat is diagonal across on the opposite side, okay? The reason the vehicles have 2 driver's seats is because these vehicles only move forward and up, depending on the direction it needs to move, that's where the driver sits, okay? Crawler transporters, they never stay at the launch pad. They're only used for transporting, just how we use a truck to transport stuff. These vehicles act like a truck. They transport stuff. The only thing, you don't dump anything, okay? But these vehicles can climb a hill and stay straight, just like they are all the way up. It's amazing to see this vehicle in action, okay? But the crawler transporter, it transports the platform. Now the platform, it's called the mobile launcher platform, is what we always assemble and launch rockets and shuttles off the top of. I'm going to show you one of these platforms coming up. We have a total of 4 of them out here, okay? So it goes up underneath the platform and picks it up, takes it inside the vehicle assembly building, offloads, and then leaves and waits for them to assemble the rocket on top. Once they complete that, they call for the crawler transporter to come back in and pick everything up and take it out to the launch pad. But remember, the crawler transporter, it never stays at the launch pad. Of course, it would not be good for the driver, and I'll explain that in just a few moments, okay? So I do hope that you guys are moving around to get your photo, but right now, just kind of hold on until I slow it back down again. So coming up on the right side, there's a very big, huge platform up here with 2 ears on the top. This is called the Mobile Launcher Platform. Apollo 1 mission was launched off the top of this platform. The last space shuttle, which is currently at the Visitor Center, was launched off the top of this platform right here. But you see the 3 large holes up underneath it? Ladies and gentlemen, that's where the flames come down through when it's time for liftoff. That's what always seems to remind and encourage the driver to never stay at the launch pad, okay? They understand it can become a very heated situation, okay? All right, so we're going to take it up a notch just a little bit, come around the corner. I'm hoping that the doors are open to this building. Again, this building is a single-story building. By the way, it sits on over 8 acres of land by itself, okay? The building stands over 520 plus feet tall. Inside this building right now is our new tower that was built for NASA's new rocket, the Space Launch System. And we were supposed to launch that this year. It has been moved to next year, hopefully. And the tower is what we're going to launch it off of. Now, the tower right now is having the access arm added to it. So, but you can't see the access arm because it's on the other side of the tower. Now, I want you to look at how tall this tower is. It's actually mounted to one of those platforms. Remember I said it was 4 platforms? So it's actually mounted to one of those platforms. And By the time we assemble our new rocket to this tower and bring it out of that building, mind you, this building stands over 520 plus feet tall. But when we bring our new rocket out of there, it's going to be about 460 plus feet. That's pretty tall. Everybody see that long white building just beside it right there with the white building with the black windows? That's the Launch Control Center. Inside the Launch Control Center is where we hit the button that says go for launch. All the top NASA officials, the launch directors, and a few of the engineers, that's where they oversee the launch. Most importantly, that's where we hit the button again that says go for launch. We're headed to Launch Pad 39A. Before we reach there, I'm going to show you where we're going to be launching from, hopefully on Friday, okay? This video is going to tell you more about Launch Pad 39A. It's the original Apollo launch pad. SpaceX is now using this launch pad.
Just behind me are launch pads 39A and 39B. These two pads launched every single space shuttle mission to assemble and service the International Space Station.
Everyone,
to
please
launch
remain
the Hubble
seated.
Space
Please
Telescope,
remain
to
seated.
deploy satellites,
I'm going to
and
slow
to
it down
conduct
again when I get out by the launch
scientific
pads, okay? You can let your cameras relax for a moment.
We're looking out at launch pad 39A, where every man who walked on the moon began their journey. 82 space shuttle missions also launched from right here. Since the space shuttle program ended in 2011, this launch pad has been transformed to accommodate a private space organization. Can you guess?
SpaceX, the venture started by tech entrepreneur Elon Musk in 2002, signed a 20-year lease for the use of Pad 39A. You may have watched their Falcon Heavy test flight, the one that sent a Tesla Roadster into space. This is where it launched. The Falcon Heavy rocket is currently the most powerful operational rocket in the world by a factor of 2. SpaceX made
Just taking a quick look out the left side, over the top of the trees in the building. There's 3 tall towers out there with white tips. That's launch pad 39B. 39B.
You can see that same
We're
Dragon
going
capsule
around
back
A
at the
first
visitor
and come back around launch pad B.
Since then, SpaceX has made
Pad
numerous
39A is about
attempts
11
to
o'clock
and some of the
direction.
Dragon capsules have been used more than once. But the Dragon capsule isn't the only hardware they reuse. Yes, I'm talking about reusable rockets. SpaceX expertly lands many of their rocket boosters after launch. Sometimes they land back here at Cape Canaveral, while others may land on an autonomous drone ship floating in the ocean. The ability to recover and reuse rocket boosters is one of the most exciting developments in the aerospace industry in recent years. This advance in rocket technology is helping to bring down the cost of launching payloads into space, allowing more and more exciting technology to be deployed for use.
Alright, so I'm going to pause the video right there. When I come around this next corner, you're going to be looking out the right side. Remember I said I was going to show you 3 different launch pads over on the Air Force. But I want you to also keep in mind this is just 3 of about 20 launch pads over there. But these are the 3 main ones that we most often use, as well as over here, and that you can see, okay? So the very first one is Pad 41, Atlas. That's where we're going to launch that capsule on next month. And also, this is where we're going to send our astronauts back into space as well, a little bit later in the year, okay? So we're going to straddle the road since nobody's coming, all right? 4 towers with a short stack, okay? To the right of it, this looks like about 5 towers right there. That's where the launch is going to take place on Friday. SpaceX will be launching the Falcon 9 for a mission to the International Space Station, okay, from right there. To the right of that, there's a tall, skinny building with 2 eaters on it. That's Pad 37. That is a Delta launch pad. So we use a total of 5 launch pads right now. But again, there's more launch pads over on the Air Force, but these are the 3 that you can actually see, okay? Right here in front of us is one of our launch viewing sites where we bring our guests to view launches only over on the Air Force. We never bring a guest right here to view a launch over here on NASA's side because, simply put, it's a little bit too close for comfort, okay? So straight ahead of us, we're now looking at Launch Pad 39A. It's the original Apollo launch pad, 82 shuttle missions left from right here, and the last one is at the Visitor Center. Again, Atlantis was the last one to actually complete the assembly of that International Space Station. Looking off to the left again, 3 tall towers with the white tip. That is launch pad B, but we're going around there when we leave here, okay? SpaceX is now using this launch pad. SpaceX has done some upgrades and modifications to this launch pad. One of the key things they've taken from the launch pad is the original access arm. The access arm, again, is what the astronauts will walk across to be able to climb aboard the rocket. So if you look up at the launch pad, and we'll get a lot closer, as you look up at the launch pad, there's a long black and white structure that's pointing back toward the west at the very top up there. And you'll see it again once we get a little bit closer. But that's the access arm. So we're actually going to send astronauts back up into space right here as well. Again, this year. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. That means more jobs, okay? And just, some kudos for being able to launch back over here on our turf, okay? So that's SpaceX's new access arm that they have recently installed. SpaceX has a different way and a different method of getting their rockets to and from the launch pad. What they use, it's called the strong back, As I clear the trees, I'm going to slow it down a notch, so wherever you're sitting, if you need to try to get you some photos, because I can't stop up here, all right, so I have to keep moving like this right here. But look up at the surface of the launch pad up there. You see that long white steel structure laying down on the surface? It has what looks like an upside down C at the south end of it. That's the strong back. It actually rolls down the launch pad, goes inside this building right here, and retrieves the rocket on top, and then backs it right back up to the top of the launch pad. No room to turn around, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So forward and backwards motion, that is it. So inside this building right now is the next rocket that they're going to be launching from right here, okay? And SpaceX is pretty private, so it's not too often that they actually have these doors open. Caught me by surprise last week, they had it open. Not all open, but it had it open enough where you can see the rocket inside, okay? So they assemble their rockets laying down. We assemble our rockets standing up. So again, the strong back rolls down the launch pad, goes inside the building, retrieves the rocket on top, backs right back up to the top, and then stands the rocket up to prepare for launch. When they get ready to launch the rocket, the strong back pulls back just a small degree to release the rocket so it's able to freely launch, okay? Just looking for alligators. That's one of the little alligator holes right back there. Now, it takes them longer to actually roll the rocket up to the launch pad or down from the launch pad than it is to stand it up or lay it down. That only takes about 2 minutes. It's amazing, okay? Now, looking in the background, again, you can see launch pad B behind this launch pad. And I'm going to pull over just a little bit to let this car go around me, but hey, utilize it if you're trying to get a photo. As I do it, I won't be stopping, I'm just pulling over briefly, just to let the car go around me. Alright, so but there's complete office buildings. There's complete office buildings up underneath both of these launch pads. But whenever there's a launch out here, absolutely no one's allowed to be anywhere near either one of these launch pads. Everyone has to move all the way back by the vehicle assembly building or to one of the selected launch viewing sites, okay? Take a look at the fencing real quick. You notice it has a slight curve to it? There's a very good reason for that. All before, we had a regular straight line fence, but we ran into too many problems with our alligators out here climbing over the fence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would have never thought in a million years that an alligator could climb a fence, okay? And so I was advised to YouTube it. And when I YouTubed it, I found so many videos of seeing alligators, large alligators, small ones, climbing fences. That is amazing, okay? I actually put a fence around my house to keep neighbors out. So much for that. Once again, back out the right side, pad 41. Behind the tall building, pad 40, where SpaceX is getting ready to launch from. Beyond that is pad 37. It's a Delta launch pad, okay? I think we have either 3 or 4 launches planned for this, for May. All right, 3 or 4 launches planned for this coming month. Now, if you can picture in your mind the state of Florida, everyone please remain seated. If you can picture in your mind the state of Florida, you notice that little elbow that sticks off on the east coast of Florida? That little clump? I want you to know that that's pretty much where I have you at right now. That's right. That's pretty much where you are right now. In fact, there's a stop sign up here. I'm going to stop at it for 2 good reasons. Number one, on the other side of it, it's the Atlantic Ocean. Number two, the bus was not equipped with flotation devices. Okay? To the right takes you over on the Air Force. To the left keeps us on NASA side, and I can collect another paycheck. Okay? We also sit alongside about 43 miles of undisturbed beach. Also, we sit on 140,000 acres of land, but we use less than 10% for the science and technology and the space program. The rest of it is actually dedicated to the wildlife, and we do have an abundance of creatures and critters out here that will always make you think twice about grabbing a bus, okay? Big, huge rattlesnakes, of course, alligators, wild hogs, coyotes, bobcats, wild deers, panthers, fox, armadillos, we call them, the drivers, we call them space rats, okay? And we even have turtles trying to cross the road to get to Kentucky Fried Chicken, okay? So, but they all have the right of way. They all have the right of way, okay? If anyone's in the roadway, we have to stop if we can't get around them. I'm going to stop right here momentarily, just in case someone wants to get a photo.